Sometimes I often wonder where I got my name from. You know, sometimes I like to think it was from an elegant place like Stewart's, like from England, or it might just be a Stewart, 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 and maybe I was just a steward for some train service years ago, where they just put out the little uh, stool for people to walk down off of the train back in the old days. But I would like to think it was from like England or somewhere, but I'd be damned if I asked ancestral.com, because it is something else for a person to live all his life one way, and for a person to tell you that you should live another way. That is a person so self-conscious and about second guessing himself that he's lost in the world, period. So that's why I have a problem with Jehovah's Witnesses and people going over to the Middle East as missionaries, missionaries trying to tell somebody how they should live to be civilized, and like Britain or British people, in the name of the Queen, and going over to call themselves, making native people of that era or land civilized. And these people have been surviving in their brutal habitat, or whatever you want to call it, or region of the world. They've been doing just fine, but you have people go over and call themselves, making them civilized, and end up getting kidnapped and beheaded because they have a better idea of how you should live. And a person that accepts that accepts the Jehovah's Witness or any religion, as they were brought up to believe in a certain religion, and then have someone come in and brainwash them and make them second guess themselves into living like they think you should live, is lost in the world. And so I have a problem with that. But I kind of wonder which region this name Stewart came from, and it has to do with how it's spelled. I know that, but I talked to a Korean lady one time in one of the many of inpatient rehabs that I was in, and she told me Stewart means bold. That you were a bold person, and I believe in that more than anything else. From how my father was, and I wasn't that way when I was younger. I actually I got involved with my first domestic case at 5 years old. I pushed the girl Margie Davis out of her seat in grammar school or kindergarten or something. And what did I do that for? Not knowing that she was in a little gang. And so at 3:30, when I got out of the mobile trailers, and I thought it was a day just like any other day, the girls jumped me. And it was like little cats. I had scratches everywhere, musty panties all on her face. They were on me like killer bees and chased me home. And from that point, because I never seen my mother and father fight, so I didn't never agree with hitting girls, but I liked this little girl, and I thought that was the way to get her attention. Only then I knew I had fucked up. So, so when I got home, finally after being scratched up like going through a broad patch, I know y'all don't know what that is, some of y'all. I'll just say barbed wire, and came through the back door. My mother must have knew what happened, cause she said, "I told you not to be putting your hands on a woman." And from 5 years old or 7 years old or whatever age I was, I never hit a woman again. And I think that's a good quality. But I will never live my life according to a psychic or according to um, horoscopes and ancestry.com. I live my life and feel like I'm always going to be a part of the world, or I'm where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there. Um, and that's how I always been. But I find most people like California psychics. Uh, what did they say? $1 a minute? Well, maybe they were profilers or ex FBI agents, and the information that you give them before you start being charged $1 a minute, probably they know all about you before they even get started. But I often look at the guy talking about how did she know that I had a passion to be uh, an exercise instructor. If I would look at him, I would say he have a passion for eating and call him Butterbean. And the lady that said she was incredibly warm, well, with that big ass head she had, I don't think it takes much for her to be incredibly warm or close uh, to whatever she thought she should be. But that's another story. But I don't think a person should change his point of view after he's been living uh, a certain way all his life. And if you do, you're lost in the world, second guessing yourself, and you'll never find yourself. Thank you.